Welcome to the Between Brothers podcast. We have Zero, the Chancellor of Charisma. We have the King is back.
I know it.
King Shawn in the building, of course.
Yes, sir.
Duke of Debonair, this Lando in the building. Thanks to everybody for listening. King Shawn, I know you said you short on time, so whenever you need to leave, just
I'm here till 11 at least till 11.
Oh yeah, I was. To be honest, I was planning on getting out of here by 10:30. So
okay, it don't matter.
So let's get into it. King Shawn, how was your week, or how have you been the last couple of weeks since you last came on?
I've been all right, man. I ain't nothing changed, bro. I got some feelings, but I won't say that for the pot.
Okay, all right, bet. Zero, how was your week?
Man, so you already know about my sink. It started overflowing. Come to find out, it was the folks that live above me that was screwing up with my water. So I don't get it. And what was it? Yesterday, while I was eating, somehow I bit into my fork and I chipped my tooth.
Brittle ass teeth.
And shoot, I'm surprised. As many times I've bitten into my freaking fork by accident. Now I'm over here drinking milk.
Drinking milk.
It ain't gonna help, but
no, I think I had that happened to me a few months back. I've been into something that gave me a little small chip. I didn't do nothing about it. It seemed like I don't know, whatever wear and tear that you get from eating stuff kind of smoothed it back out. So, we good. But my week was straight. Link took his learner's permit test, passed it. We had a celebration in the DMV. Everybody was looking at us because we was being negrified.
Apologetically black.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I thought you were about to say you threw something on the grill.
Nah. My grill, to be honest, my grill out of condition. That's probably the reason why we did.
But how was your son? How was your son?
He's 17.
17?
Yeah. To be honest, of course he could have. He never really showed a desire to get it, and the only reason why he got it was because he was talking about getting a job, and I was gonna take him for his ID, but I'm like, oh, the permit would be his ID, so we might as well kill the two birds with one stone, except for, and he passed it first try. So, and like I said, and I told him that he had to be like me and pass on his first try, or he might be like his mother and take 7 tries to do it. I don't know, but he hit on the first try. He was like, yeah. I put a lot of. He said I ain't really put no pressure on myself, but we was in DMV for 3 hours, so he was like, I wasn't trying to come back for another 3 hours. I said, me neither.
It's crazy.
We were in line for 2.5 of those hours.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I was gonna say down here, it's actually required for them to take driver's ed in school.
Yeah, no, here too.
Okay.
Yeah, so he took it 2 years ago. He took it in 10th grade. He's a senior now.
Okay.
So he's taken it a while ago. He just never did the whole
test.
He never did the test. He never, actually took the permit test or whatever. Like I said, he never really. So I kind of, and to be honest, I've been meaning to take him to the DMV for months, since October, November maybe. But when I would want to take him on a weekend, his mother was very sporadic with their pickup, so she would just pop up when I actually had the time. So I was like, all right, this weekend. I don't care if she,
You could have sat in the car and waited.
No, I mean it wasn't that big of a deal. But I told her, I'm like, no, this weekend we doing this. Tell your mother if she's picking you up, she's only going with your sister. She's not going with you. And it was cool, So yeah. And then I did his first driving lesson. He almost hit a park bus, and he hit a curb. But my car turned out unscathed, and we good. You know what I'm saying? Because if we hit that
I
bus, it was
drink to
gonna.
that.
If we hit that bus, it was definitely gonna be a hit and run. Because I wouldn't take.
Yeah.
He's like, get out the car.
I got a funny first time driving with my son story too, real quick before you go zero.
Go ahead, no, go ahead. Do your thing.
So, like I said, my son started driving. He took his test probably like 2 months ago, and he just turned 16 last month. So
Mm.
I took him driving. I want to say maybe a month ago for the first time, and I just took him out. We were just cruising. Mind you, my inspection is dead on my car, and I just
Oh my
realized.
god.
Yeah, so I just realized it. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to take him too far, but I'll just take him like around the block a couple times.
Yeah,
So we coming we coming down the street, and there's a median in between us. Like it's a grass median, but it's a
yeah.
cop coming across the other way. But the cop, he pulls into the median like he's about to sit and start running radar. So when he does that, my son just slams on brakes. Like
Oh no.
yes, slams on brakes, bro. Because I guess he thought he was coming out into the into
Yeah,
the
yeah.
like across. So I'm like, what the hell are you doing, man? I said, you better get pulled over. I said, they first of all, they gonna pull you over because you slammed on brakes, and then I ain't got an inspection sticker too. I said, you probably about to
Oh
get. I
no.
said, you probably about to get a ticket, man. So he looking all scared. I said, just go ahead and pull over. So you don't know which way to pull over, which way to pull over. I'm like, you ain't never been pulled over in a car with nobody before, bro. Like, come on now. So he's like,
Man.
no, no. So I told him like, calm down, just pull over right here. So the cop came out. I told him he was like a rookie driver and everything. He told him like basically it was a warning. Like if you see me in the media, don't think that we're gonna come across. We just shooting radar, just
Yeah.
relax and stuff like that. But that shit was hilarious though.
That is funny,
That
man.
shit
But
was
that's a good.
hilarious.
They ain't hit you with the inspection, bro.
Nah, they hit me with the
That's what's
inspection.
up, dog. That's what's up, man. Yeah. So, but yeah, so that was pretty much the week. I'm proud of my son because, he knocked this test out the park. The lady at the DMV said he was the second person the whole day to pass the test, and I was like, "How many people took the test?" She was like, "A lot of people." So
Too
yeah.
many
So
to count.
but anyways, let's get straight to it. The Super Bowl happened last night, and
Yeah.
Zero, he hit it out the park with his prediction. At least with the Kansas City Chiefs taking an L. He said, I'm pretty sure he mentioned the front four of the Eagles are going to probably be the reason why they won. And Saquon, but Saquon was actually non-existent throughout the game. He didn't break anything. I thought he was at least going to get into the end zone, but they didn't do that. They couldn't get him into the end zone. But I guess I'll start it off. My reaction to the game. One, a lot of people kept talking about the Kansas City Chiefs with the referees. The referees, I would say, called it pretty fair, but they did call a few ticky tack stuff on the Chiefs, and they missed a couple. I would say one big call with the
Hands to the face.
hands to the face on Patrick Mahomes. But outside of that, I thought it was a pretty clean game being called. And Saquon Barkley, I think, is the greatest free agent pickup of all time because of the Super Bowl one. Because in week 5 or 6, people were calling for Nick Sirianni's job. And then they were like, let's just focus on Saquon. and they ran the table after that. So then you have Patrick Mahomes was bad. And he wasn't throwing the ball even before the pressure started. Throwing the ball well even before the pressure started really getting to him. So, and he's always started like that in every Super Bowl he's played. So it wasn't unusual, but this time they just like when they lost to Tampa Bay, they had the pass rush to get to him, and that hurt them. The play calling on the Chiefs side was horrible. The defensive play calling on the Eagles was remarkable. They seemed like they knew where Mahomes wanted to go to the ball on every single play. There was almost always somebody there. They the what else was I gonna say? There was one play that had stood. Oh, the Eagles did what they were supposed to do, and that was pretty much dominate the game and take no chances in Mahomes coming back. And especially when they went deep to Devontae Smith on that one play, like when they're already up 27-0, and so they dominated the trenches. And um, Andy Reid got out coached overall. I know he actually doesn't call plays. This was the highest scoring defensive game I've ever seen in my life, because the Chiefs defense outside of that big play was remarkable in my opinion. Like they like Hurts had a solid game, but if you look at his stats, it wasn't really all that great. And especially compared to last time he played in the Super Bowl. And then lastly, people have been grading the halftime show. I enjoyed the halftime show, and I don't listen to Kendrick Lamar's music. I only knew like 2 or 3 songs from all the songs that they played. The sound was a little bit off, so if anybody wanted to complain about that, I would say that was probably my biggest complaint. But hearing Drake get called a pedophile by 100,000 screaming fans is the best thing I've ever heard in a concert in my entire life. So that's my overview on the Super Bowl. We'll get deeper into it. Zero, I'm going to come to you. What's your take on the Super Bowl?
Yeah. That front four is going to be the blueprint to every other team in the offseason.
But it's always been the blueprint, hasn't it?
I don't
Like we
think that
seen Tom
You
Brady.
dominate. No, you
I
dominate
don't.
you dominate the trenches. It's a thing. Yeah, it's like because I mean the Chiefs. Their left tackle, no, their left guard was playing left tackle because they didn't have a left tackle. Joe Tooney is a not a
There are
tackle, but he's
injuries on the
playing.
line again. I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
yeah.
Um, what's it called? Um, well, yeah, well, the blueprint is always win in the trenches, so I can't really say that. But for me, it was a complete game for the Eagles. Um, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Like you said, they were just waiting. They were just waiting for Mahomes to release that ball. It was like they were everywhere. Like it didn't matter what he was trying to do. Like I asked you during the game, I was like, what are they going to say about the refs this time? Because it seemed like the Chiefs couldn't do nothing on offense without getting a call against them. Um, Jalen Hurts played well. Um, Devontae Smith is now the first Alabama player to score a touchdown in the Super Bowl, which was a pretty weird stat, but it is what it is.
Me personally, I think I don't think Kansas City came ready. To be honest with you, I don't think they came ready. Um, they got out physical in every aspect of the game. Personally, to me, um, the defense front four, they just got to it. Pat was running for his life all night.
And it didn't
Um,
help that you can't stop that Chris Jones got hurt too.
they
Like
ain't
that
matching
was
physicality at all to me. Everybody's saying Pat don't have players. You got DeAndre Hopkins out there. You got Hollywood Brown out there. You got Juju Smith-Schuster. You got Noah Gray. And I ain't saying here saying Noah Gray is a great tight end, but me personally, I ain't never seen Noah Gray drop a ball to Pat Mahomes through to him. I just don't see him drop balls that often. I may be wrong, but I ain't never seen it.
Kelsey looked like he wanted to murder somebody.
Yeah. In my opinion, I told y'all last time we was on here. I felt like what the game plan should be, and I feel like that's pretty much what Kansas City did: sell out on Saquon and make Jalen Hurts beat you. And besides the takeaways that Pat gave them, like I feel like they probably would have still been in that game, maybe. But I mean, they did what they did. Defense showed up. Jalen Hurts showed up too. Jalen Hurts beat you. Like I mean, at the end of the day, it
Yeah,
was
and it was the turnovers that killed them.
yeah,
It's not even just the turnovers; it's where on the field it
exactly,
happened because they were
exactly.
all like they were having. I think two of their touchdown drives were like 30-yard drives. Like it wasn't. They dominated the
I
trenches as
don't
you were saying.
remember the Eagles punting at all. Maybe I think the
No, I
first time
don't think they did.
the first drive when they called the offensive interference
Oh,
on
you know what? I
Brown.
didn't see the
That was
first drive. I didn't
yeah,
see the first drive. I
that
got
was
home
BS.
late.
It was a BS call. I thought the refs were about to start playing in that game when they call offensive
Yeah, that
interference on.
offensive pass interference.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, like no, like folks were like, oh, he put his hand in his face, and so it's like not much hand fighting, but he wouldn't. But Mike Pereira said he wouldn't have called that.
Tom Brady up there lying on the broadcast. So he talked about after they called that foul. He said, I hate when they call these flags. He's like, always in the biggest games. I used to tell the refs, just let us play, man. I'm like, no, you ain't. I done see you cuss out the refs so many times, bro.
So many times. He even
Stop
admitted that,
lying.
Mike. He's surprised he only got.
Yeah, two, right? Like, come on, right?
um. Oh, that's another thing. I never want to. I never want to hear CBS broadcast another game for this another Super Bowl while Tony Romo is there. Tom Brady and who's the other guy that's with him? Joe. Is it
Joe Buck. No,
no.
no,
That's
no,
on Monday
no.
Night Football. I can't remember the other guy's name, and I
I was
apologize.
gonna say Joe Tessitore, but I don't think he's. I think he's
No,
doing
he's ESPN. Um, that
ESPN and
broadcasting team
WWE.
was brilliant. That
Mm.
broadcasting team was brilliant. It was an excellent. I didn't really watch a ton of Fox games, so I didn't hear a lot from Tom Brady all throughout the season. But because I'm an AFC fan, but every time I heard Tom Brady, I'm like, how does Tony Romo still have a job? Because Greg Olson is also fantastic as well. So I'm like, the Fox got all the good people, and I I I I, I loved everything outside the game. And like King Shawn was saying, they like if Kansas City didn't turn the ball over, it would have been a really close, tough game because it was. Like I said, both defenses played well. Like even Chris Jones, he got hurt, but that was what third quarter maybe, and it was, and he came back into the game a couple plays later and still played well. So but AJ Brown was giving McDuffie the business every time. Like every time they saw him one on one, they were like, "We going after you."
And
So
I would have lived with that. Like I said, I'm not gonna let Saquon like beat me. Like
100%.
AJ Brown gonna have to keep showing me that he can do that, and Jalen
Yeah.
Hurts gonna keep out to showing me that he can deliver. Like
And
straight
he
up.
only had what 215 passing yards, and then
Yeah,
40 or I think it was how much was the bomb? 47, I think.
I think so.
Most of it came on one play. Like so, that's what I'm saying. Like Jalen Hurts, I'm pretty sure he won Super Bowl MVP. I didn't stay. I
He
had to take
did.
my
He did.
okay. I had to take my
Which I
sister
thought was
home.
kind of crazy.
Yeah,
I
I
would
had
have
to
gave it
take
to
my sister
Josh.
home. I thought one of the guys who had multiple sacks
Yeah, I would have gave it to Josh
would have
Sweat.
won it.
I thought it was gonna be Josh Sweat, or I thought it was gonna be Cooper DeJean with a pick six.
Yeah, I know why Jalen got it though, because he's the quarterback and he did score 3 touchdowns.
I get it.
So I get it. But I thought it was going to be one of the defensive guys. But I didn't look. I'd take my sister home and I was like, it was 40-16. So I didn't see the last touchdown for the Chiefs because I was like, even if the Chiefs, if this was going on in the third quarter, you know what I'm saying? Like this would have been a different story. But the fact that it was 2.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, I'm like, this game is over. So I took her home a little early. So that's why I missed like part of the first quarter, really the first drive, and then I missed the last 2 minutes of the game. But what y'all think of the halftime show?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You knew it, Ezra.
yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was funny with the A minor chain. Thought it was funny that they had Drake's ex So yeah, they had Serena Williams, who was Drake's ex.
Bro,
Crip
calling
Walker.
Serena Williams, leading with Serena Williams as Drake's ex is crazy.
It was like, oh well. What's it called? Like you said, the everyone it's like everyone yelling pedophile and yelling A minor while it's like on national television. And the funniest thing to me in that entire performance was when right before when he said, "Hey Drake, I heard you like him young." The way he looked at the camera, he looked vindictive as a motherfucker. He looked like a menace when he said that shit.
So to me, I think this performance goes down probably top five all time.
Bruh, I was saying the same thing. And like, I'm not a Kendrick fan. I'm like, I've been on a hip hop listening journey because somebody in our Facebook group has said that Ti was put out better albums than Fabulous. So I was like, whether we agree or disagree, Fabulous is one of my 5 favorite rappers, so I didn't agree with that.
I can probably agree with that, but I think Fabulous is a better rapper.
That's what I was like when I posted the thing in the group. That's what it was like. One gotta go. It was one of those one gotta go, and I was like Ti easy. So I was like, man, I've never listened to a Ti album. I've heard some of the songs. But I was like, I'm not a hip hop head like y'all are, right? Yeah. So I was like, well, let me start listening to Ti. So I listened to I think his first 4 albums so far, and I'm gonna listen to Fabulous's album so I can right after that. But I was like, next guy is gonna be Kendrick because I didn't know a lot, and I liked every song that he performed in the Super Bowl, and I only knew 3 of them. I think he performed like 6 or 7 songs. So I'm like, oh shoot, like he's actually when people say he's one of the big 3, and he's saying it's just Big Me, like I couldn't believe it. I couldn't because I don't like none of Drake's songs. I'm a Drake hater, so I'm like I definitely love the fact that this guy got torched in a battle, and then it's the biggest song in hip hop, and is probably the biggest diss song of all time, and he gets to be taunted for the last year where this dude over here filing cases how bad it's gotten, but I saw a lot of Caucasians. I saw a lot of Caucasus Mountain descendants saying it was like horrible, and I'm like, that's strange. Isn't that ironic?
It ain't strange. It's honestly it would have been strange if they didn't say anything.
To me, like I said, it's top 5. It's top 5 history, and like I had to call Spile because my initial reaction was like, yo, this is probably like number 1 of all time. And then like I had to think about like the Michael Jackson, and I had to think about who else do we name? The Usher, Alicia Keys, Jermaine Dupri one. I think it was last year. You had the Rihanna one.
Yeah, that was last year.
You had the Beyonce one. We was talking about the Bruno Mars one. We was talking about the Weeknd. We were talking about the Janet
Jackson. I hated the Weeknd joint.
I told him I liked the Weeknd one, but I didn't like. I felt like the whole time like I was watching that one, I felt like he was coked up. Like I felt like I was watching a coked up monster, bro. I swear to God, like he's running around like.
Yeah, that's
like that just felt like the whole time.
What I say, he said that whole performance was a fucking acid trip.
I promise you, bro. Like that's what it felt like.
One. The Weeknd joint almost made me not want to watch another Super Bowl. And I never really watched it, but when I saw that joint, I was like, yeah, I can't. He's saying he can't feel his face. His performance making my
boy
face
high. That's what that song's about.
I'm like, but his performance is making my head and face hurt with all these antics and stuff. So I was like, yeah.
I like the Rihanna one. The only reason why I knocked the Rihanna one down is because that's when she was revealing that she was pregnant, so she wasn't really dressing provocative and dancing as much as she usually do. So I was like, that's not the full Rihanna package. I want the full Rihanna package.
If she's gonna perform, that's what you want.
But like I said, top 5 aesthetically, message wise, trolling wise, The only thing that I did not like about this performance for me was that I felt like it was too much attention to Drake. Like almost like y'all living like he living rent free in y'all head now. Like I feel like it was more about him and like instead of like your performance in a way sometimes. Like I'm not saying
because me and Spy, we were talking about right before the like a few days before the Super Bowl, and we're thinking, it was like I said to him, I don't think he'll actually perform Not Like Us. Cause I said he me and Spy thought he was going to perform King Kunta. We thought he was gonna perform what was that track with Future?
like that.
No. From the Black Panther soundtrack.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I can't
I
think
think
of the
they
name
have
of
The
it right now.
King's Dead or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it was like I thought he was gonna perform that hour. It's like I was like, I don't think he's gonna perform swimming pools. I don't think he's gonna do that. So I was like, I'm thinking of every other song beside because I think like maybe half the songs he performed was from his the latest album that he had.
Yeah, it was. I think he did 3 early songs, and then he did Humble, he did DNA. That was it, and then after that, I think the
He
rest of them was from the new
he,
song.
he didn't do Squabble Up.
No, he did Squabble Up. He did
Yeah,
Euphoria. He did Squabble Up. He did Peekaboo, and then he did the song with SZA. 2 songs with SZA,
Yeah,
and then
one
ended
for
it with TV off. So I think it was like a total of like 10 almost.
oh, okay. Because I know the one with the second song he did with SZA was from the Black Panther soundtrack. All the stars, or I think that's what it was called. But Samuel L. Jackson, it was like,
Samuel L. Jackson narrating being Uncle Sam, like,
yeah,
and that's what I'm saying, like the messaging. So like he was basically saying like how Kendrick was rapping at first, like you got to play America's game, so they don't want that rough ghetto shit, and then going to like the soft music shit with SZA, and then going back to like he was teasing about the Not Like Us before he went to SZA, and then he was like, don't mess it up, and then he ended up playing the Not Like Us, getting ghetto again, like fuck it, like. But it was a troll to America for that's what it was. That's why he was saying like the 40 acres and the mule is bigger than the music, basically saying that like America's still giving unfulfilled promises to black people, like
oh
but
yeah,
a lot of people not getting like the undertones of it, especially the white people. They just like, oh, this
oh,
was a
like
poor performance.
so white people want another Katy Perry episode because that was an episode of whatever the fuck. I don't know what that was when she did that shit. Um, they probably wanted Taylor Swift to drop down out of the sky and pull a Kanye. It's like, it's like I know you the hottest. I know you the hottest out right now, but I got my own section in Walmart. I got my own section. Well, they got all my albums in vinyl at Walmart. But
Top
yeah,
five all time, though, bro. Top five all time. Like I've watched this performance at least 7 times since it happened originally.
wait, what?
Yeah,
it's all over YouTube.
yeah,
Ain't like it's
yeah.
hard to find.
No,
Yeah,
I know
like
it's not hard to find, but 7 times. It's like
seven
had
times.
it
I
for
mean,
24 hours.
bro, like
you
to
still
me, it's
got
that
you
good.
still got to go to work.
To me, it's
Yeah,
that
yeah.
good, and the reason why I say that is because
I'm gonna watch it again because, like I said, I personally enjoyed the whole thing.
bro,
Yeah, I
like
did too.
you gotta like how you were saying too, like just like when I say everything was on point, from like how you said him smiling at the camera saying, "Hey Drake," like popping up when they started the song Peekaboo, like it's a song about Peekaboo. When he wasn't on the camera, they was
Yeah,
just dancing, and then he popped up. Like it's so much stuff that he was doing, like even in between rap battles, like I mean, not even between his raps, like smiling or looking away from the camera, like it was just so much shit that was just on point. And I was
Yeah,
like, this is Kendrick, right? Like we getting real K'd out right now. Like
yeah.
it was so good. Like I looked up tickets to his next show, bro. Like I looked up his tour dates. Like that's how
That's
good it was.
usually what it does. That's usually
Yeah.
that's usually how the Super Bowl performances do it.
yo,
They put
it
on a
threw me
great.
off when all those folks were climbing out the Grand National. I was like, how do they fit so many? I forgot that
I
he's
said they
on the
coming out the
stage.
bottom. Yeah,
I
they coming
was
out
like,
the
yo,
bottom.
how they fit all these niggas inside this car? It's only a two.
It's a 2-seat, a 4-seater, but 2 door. That was they
Niggas
got no
hopping out the
inside.
truck.
So getting back to the game,
Mm.
there was so me personally, I don't understand why Matt Nagy has a job. He's a horrible when all right. I don't know anything. I'm not an NFL player. I haven't played football at the highest level. I haven't coached football at the highest level. I haven't called players at the highest level. But it seemed like the rule of thumb has always been if the pressure is getting to you, you got to make quick passes and offset the pass rush with draw plays, screen plays, and the running game. And you had 7 rush attempts, fewest in Super Bowl history. You ran 0 screenplays as far as like screenplays to the running back specifically. But I think they ran a wide receiver screen. They ran and they kept running deep pattern plays. And it was just like, he's getting hit all the time. His feet ain't right. His mechanics is off because he's jittery. Why aren't you helping him? And you have, I didn't know that they had a replacement offensive lineman. You have a replacement offensive lineman in there that you're trying to hold up against the league's best. I think they led the league in sacks as a team, against the league's best pass rush, against the league's second best defense in the NFC. What, like, I don't understand. They have, to be honest, Cooper DeJean. I'm surprised he's as good as he is, mainly because he's Caucasian and I've never seen it. So, you know what I'm saying? And people, oh, that's racist. I don't care. It's just what it is. You don't see certain things. It's surprising to you. So they were locking down on the perimeter. Everybody played well. Bond, I didn't know who he was because I think he was a backup before. I think this is his first year being a starter. like it's just like everything were in the Chiefs. It seemed like they were like, well, he's Patrick, so we don't need to do nothing for him. He'll figure it out. And that's horrible. That's a horrible way of coaching, in my opinion. And that's why Matt Nagy doesn't need to be an offensive coordinator. I was mad when they hired him last year. And the Chiefs' offense has dwindled since. And I know there was a couple of drop balls. That DeAndre Hopkins drop was very strange. I don't know what the hell. It's like he forgot that the ball was thrown to him until the ball got to him. Like, it was a very strange drop that he normally doesn't drop. But like, they didn't really scheme up their receivers open. Like, nothing. They did nothing schematically that looked good. And I guess you can say, hey, it's because of how the front four was pressuring him. And that has something to do with it. But why don't Pacheco can catch the ball out the backfield? Why don't you throw a screenplay to him? Why don't you run plays to offset these things? We can y'all. Travis Kelce's a shell of himself. To be honest, I think if they won, he would have retired on the stage. Like he's not good anymore. And so I'm like, shout to the Eagles. But like I said, offensively, I wasn't very impressed with the Eagles'
That's
offense.
why I felt like Cooper DeJean kind of like deserved the MVP because Cooper DeJean was on Travis Kelce all night, and Cooper DeJean had a pick six. Like I said, like to me, I felt like he played as a rookie, like in the Super Bowl, like he played like the
and
best.
It was his birthday.
He played the best he could play, bro. Like, and then like I said, Josh Sweat 2.5 sacks. Like you can't beat that too. So I don't know.
DeJean and Saquon share the same birthday.
Oh, Saquon won a Super Bowl on this, man. You know, I had said this on our last podcast together. I said I wouldn't be mad if the Eagles won because of the Giants and how they did that, man. Saquon. And the fact that he goes to the Eagles and he brings them to a champ. Did he play great in that game? No, but if that game was all on Jalen Hurts and there wasn't the threat of Saquon Barkley, I think the Chiefs defense is probably a 22-20 game. because I don't think that Jalen Hurts, even with this Super Bowl, is a top 5 quarterback. You know,
Nah.
so I just like
There
I
was a
said,
lot of people like in a group chat that I talked to every day for work. They were saying because me, I personally, I feel like Jaden Daniels is better than Jalen Hurts, and they were saying, "Oh, Jalen Hurts, don't you ever say that Jaden Daniels is better?" I'm like, bro, just because he won a Super Bowl, don't make him a top 5 quarterback like he was saying. Like
yeah,
Joe Flacco has won a Super Bowl, fucking Nick Foles has won a Super Bowl. Like they're not, they were Super
Eli
Bowl.
won 2 Super Bowls.
They were Super Bowl MVPs and
Trent
still
Dilfer's
not
won a
fucking.
Super Bowl. He wasn't on the team after that.
And again, they were not top 5 quarterbacks. Like I don't want to hear
Yeah,
it.
There are too many quarterbacks that have won Super Bowls that were
Yeah,
that you've completely forgotten about.
yeah,
I think
100%.
Brad Johnson won the Super Bowl. It was like who, like for real? I
yeah. So I just love that storyline too of the Giants. The Giants literally fumbled their whole organization in one season, all because they wanted to pay Buns a Plenty Jones
And released them.
and then released him. So
and
it's
that's
just
why the
like
Vikings lost.
that's funny. But and then the Eagles, I wonder how much the Eagles and the Chiefs benefited from the litany of injuries the Lions had. Now they were still winning, but it's the regular season is different than the postseason. And the Lions took multiple injuries in their postseason game, like during the game. So it's hard to overcome that stuff. And the Eagles were what we all thought the Lions should have been. So it's just like with the run game, with with everything that was involved. So so yeah, I mean, I love the fact that the Giants fans who talked trash to Saquon Barkley after he signed to the Eagles had to watch him win a Super Bowl for the Eagles. I wish he had a better performance if he was going to win, so it could really be like he's the true sole reason why they won the Super Bowl. But he didn't have a very good game. But I'm glad he got a title. I'm glad he got a ring. That Eagles offensive line and defensive line is going to be scary moving forward. Final thoughts on the Super Bowl so we can get to these awards.
Final thoughts is congratulations, Joe.
He ain't one of the quarterbacks that you say he wasn't drafted with
Nah, he's
it was
drafted
a year
after
after.
Lamar. Yeah, anybody with the same year or after Lamar, I do not.
That was I thought it was just the
Yeah.
same year.
Nah, Jalen was one of them. I didn't want to win a Super Bowl before Lamar.
Dang.
I mean, but hey, like if anything, the only thing Jalen did for anybody is change the narrative against running quarterbacks. So he got a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
My thoughts are Kelsey, go pod.
Go Pod.
Go pod. Go with your brother, dog. So yeah, go with your brother, dog.
You see what Gardner Johnson posted?
Yeah,
Yes.
That's a wild boy, yo. That's a wild
Hey, look,
boy.
I ain't mad at him. I ain't mad at
Oh
him.
man. You see Taylor Swift hit the stanky leg?
No, I didn't see
I,
that.
I, I
No.
haven't seen it either, but I saw black dudes on Twitter like, oh, that's why Travis hooked up with her. So she must have that leg must have that stank on it. I don't
Hey,
know. I
look,
haven't seen it.
It's got to be something, right?
I seen his ex. I seen her on Instagram on her story blowing a bunch of like Eagles colors, like confetti, out her hand, talking about. They said it's enough room on the bandwagon.
That's funny.
It's like, yo, somebody tell her whole ass shut the hell up. You still bitter. It's like he left you for a number 2 pencil, a super
That's what she mad.
rich number 2 pencil, but number 2 pencil nonetheless. Number 2 pencil with glitter on it.
That's my final thoughts.
Man, I just looked at this damn stanky leg thing. Man, this I wasted 12 seconds of my damn life. There ain't nothing special about that mess.
No,
She looked kind of thick in the joint, but she's not. It's just how the dress is. We all know she built like Zero said of an
Number two. Yeah.
colorless number 2 pencil.
The
But shout out to Taylor Swift, man.
12 pack that you get from
Everybody
Walmart.
was happy that they only showed her like once, which I didn't understand the whole Taylor Swift they keep showing her thing because I was like, I watched like 5 Chiefs games this year.
It's like every time Pat Mahomes complete a pass, that's when they want to show her. But
the first year, yeah, but this year it wasn't really like that. At least the games I watched.
Because Travis Kelce won't do much.
yeah, that's pretty much what it was. Like they only showed Travis did something.
Yeah, if the scores were flipped and the Chiefs were the ones getting the blowouts, all you would have seen was you would have saw Taylor Swift while the Eagles were running a play.
High five and shit every time.
I was saying it was like first down Eagles, and she's just sitting here talking to his mom and talking to Ice Spice, whoever the fuck invited her anywhere. I didn't even know she had enough money to go to New Orleans, let alone be there with Taylor Swift. No, she
not playing with Ice Spice. She might not be the greatest rapper, but she damn sure had some stardom for a little while. So you know what I'm saying? About 14 minutes, but sometimes that's all it takes. All right. So the awards happened the same weekend. I messed it up. I thought the awards were the week before the Pro Bowl weekend. I don't know why. But we're gonna save MVP for last because that's the most controversial one. Coach of the year, I don't think it was to anybody's surprise. Kevin O'Connell, because of at the beginning of the season, I said they were poised to have one of the worst records in football. And not only that, Vegas thought so as well. Like they had one like 5 best odds for worst record in football. And they were complete, and especially after McCarthy got hurt. I think they dropped him like a win after that. So Zero called it, said that they were gonna be a playoff team. They had the second best record in the conference, so of course he won that. Do you have an argument for anybody else?
Coach of the year?
Yeah.
No, because what's it called? If you want to make an argument for Dan Campbell, it's like they thought the Lions were going to be back, and they had the Lions going back to the NFC Championship game anyway. So I mean, but yeah, we knew that everybody loved the Lions. You said the Vikings were a team that had odds for the worst record, and there's nobody else that would have that you could really make an argument for, in my opinion, because you would have never thought that the Vikings would have been one win away from being the number one seed.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing about it. They were one win away from being the number one seed.
Personally speaking, I know why he didn't get really much consideration, but I feel like Mike Tomlin should have gotten more consideration.
Hell no.
Tomlin?
Because they fell apart towards the end of the season, I understand, but again, it was another thing. They were projected 7.5 wins,
and that's the thing. Like they shouldn't even have won the games that they won. Some of the games they won, even though like I can't say that because they won them, obviously. But like
something crazy. There's some crazy stats about Mike Tomlin. Of course, he's the only coach to never have a losing season. Mike Tomlin is the only coach to outperform his over-under number every season he's coached. He's the only one. And there was this thing that in this group that I'm in, they have like a luck ranking. And so they see like how lucky teams are. Like, and this is based off of like, like how based off of their style of play, how things normally go. And like how much they overperform what they normally do. And Mike Tomlin is by far the best coach when it comes to that, of overperforming expectations, even on the field. So with that being said, of course they fell apart. They lost like 3 of their last 4 games, or I can forget what it was, but they fell apart at the end of the season. So I understand why he didn't win it. But I'm like, this guy doesn't really have much talent on his team, and he still keep winning double-digit games. So that's why I'm like, I feel like he should get more considered. Not saying he should have won it, but he wasn't even considered for it, and I have an issue with that. Because Russell Wilson was a washed-up quarterback, and Justin Fields was a guy who people were wondering if he should be a quarterback in the NFL, and he found a way to win 10+ games with them. So it's like that's why I think he should have gotten more consideration. But I don't have an issue with Kevin O'Connell winning the award. Okay, who's next? Let's go to comeback player of the year. Joe Burrow was the best passer in football this season. I don't see how anybody could argue that he wasn't the comeback player of the year. I think the only other person probably might have gotten some recognition was DeMar Hamlin. Even though he was voted last season, but he only played like 5 snaps last season. But he actually played full-time football and actually had a really good season. So, and apparently, there was the voters, the Associated Press said that Joe Flacco shouldn't have won it last season.
He shouldn't have,
because they said it's own. He shouldn't even have been considered. And I was like, I don't know why they didn't make that clear to the voters, because apparently the Associated Press said they have to come back. That's the rule. They have to come back from injury, not from being bunts. So Joe Flacco shouldn't have won it just because he was a bad player or came off the couch.
Yeah, he was like,
then once won a few games.
I don't agree with that narrative. The only reason why I don't agree with Joe Flacco winning it last year is because it was only in like 6 or 7 games, I believe, maybe 8 games max.
As well as that.
But if you come
but
off the couch and you fucking and you bang it off in 10 to 12, or say 12 to 14 games, I don't know. I can give you comeback player of the year. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but like I said, the award was designed to recognize people coming back from injury, not coming back from sucking. You know what I'm saying? But Joe Burrow did his thing. He was the best passing quarterback in football this year. I thought he was going to win Offensive Player of the Year, but there was a lot of and we'll get to it. There was a lot of splitting the baby in this season's awards. So Rookies of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year, Jared Verse. I don't understand why he won it. I personally, especially because they were like, oh, he was replacing Aaron Donald, but I watched this team give up 150+ yards, 100 multiple times. No such thing would happen under Aaron Donald's watch, and they also don't play the same position. So I don't know, and he plays. He's an edge rusher that happened to get 4.5 sacks, but his partner, who's on the defensive line in a 34 defense, gets 8.5 sacks.
Who do you think should have been Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year?
I think what's his
Braden Fisk.
I think Braden Fisk should have got it, because I think that if you're gonna have the 2 players on the same team, the guy who is the better pass rusher, the guy who who made more impact plays, because I think they both had around the same amount of tackles for loss and the same amount of quarterback hits outside of sacks. But like I said, the guy who was actually making those plays, being in the trenches when their defensive line started molding together, he was the anchor of the defensive line. So I don't know why Jared Verse got the credit for the defensive line improving when he doesn't play on the line. So that's just what I believe. So what do y'all think?
Yeah, I would have voted Fisk, but I don't know why. Like, I never heard that narrative about Verse, though.
Yeah, if you read about him and why he won it, like every article talks about how he stepped in and filled in the hole of Aaron Donald missing. And I don't know how he did that.
Right.
But how,
Maybe I mean I don't know how you could do that either. I do know like when I seen Jared Verse play, like I can say like I felt like he was a force. Like he like made his presence known, but he wasn't getting like the sacks and everything like that. Like like I can't remember who it was. Like I even heard him like mic'd up playing, and he was like, "Yo, like y'all chipping me already? Like I'm a rookie." And he was like, "Yo, like you got to give respect to what respect is due." And I was like, "Damn, like y'all really like it was three people on. I can't remember what game it was, but I listen to mic'd up every week, and I remember hearing it, and I was
Mm,
just like, damn, like. But if you facing double teams and triple teams, I mean, I get why the numbers ain't like that.
mm,
I would have to
yeah,
go back and see what his pressure rate was, like if it was top 10 in the league.
but
yeah,
it makes me wonder how did Fisk not finish? Well, I know we're talking about winners, but Quinion Mitchell finished second.
That
If
was
Fisk
another one
fit,
that I thought was going could win it. Quinion Mitchell.
because I don't even think Quinion Mitchell even recorded an interception.
That whole defense was locked down. That's the only reason why. And I be feeling like defensive rookie of the year and offensive rookie of the year sometimes it's popularity contest. I really do.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. You can say that. You can say that. Um, because in going to the offensive side, well, none of us. I don't think any of us got rookie of the year right, defensive rookie of the year right. Um, Offensive rookie of the year, the two of y'all picked Caleb Williams, which made a lot of sense because it was
mm.
really his award to lose. All he had to do was play okay.
And
And
he had the quote unquote better talent around him
you
too.
know, no, I mean, he did have the better talent around him, and people are blaming his offensive line for some of his struggles, but I
I
think
blame
that
his offensive line and his offensive coordinator.
well, you know me, well on the YouTube Lando Sports Discussion, I said the reason why Caleb Williams won't be good starting out is because of his coaching staff, but but really, I don't. There was a stat about Caleb Williams where he was getting sacked on 35% of his pressures.
Because he holds the ball too long.
And it wasn't solely just because he holds the ball too long, but a lot of offensive linemen and a lot of stat guys were saying it's because he's not because he's not making the play that's available. Like and I even said he has a lot of Zach Wilson qualities to where he's always constantly trying to make the big play. And he's not the biggest guy either. So it's like you're doing too much. And when he would go through his reads and make a play, he was he clearly was the most talented quarterback in football as far as the rookie class was concerned. He just didn't do that enough. So they were saying like a most of when you and he was three times he got sacked at three times the highest rate of every quarterback that had a high sack rate. I think they said like Lamar Jackson had a high sack rate. Um, what's your boy name? Who won that?
Jalen
Josh
Hurts.
Allen had a high
Okay.
sack rate, and they were like even something like when you go throughout history, most of the scrambling quarterbacks had higher sack rates, and he was three times their number. It was like that's on the quarterback, that's not on the offensive line. So with that being said, I picked Jaden Daniels, even though I didn't really have faith in Cliff Kingsbury. Um, he played poised. He played like a really good quarterback all season. He really didn't have a slump, really. And he deserved it, of course. I think he had played the best football, even though I think numbers wise, maybe I think what's his name had a couple more touchdowns in him. Bo
Bo
Nix had
Nix.
yeah, Bo Nix, but I never they try to make it a race between Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix, and then Jaden Daniels came out and just started dominating again. Um, and it wasn't a race anymore after like towards the end of the season. But shout out to Jaden Daniels and congratulations to him. Um, what do y'all think about the Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year award?
That was yeah, I was good with it. I wish Brian Thomas Jr. had 150 catches and 12,000 yards and 15 touchdowns. Like that would have been nice. But it is what it is. Nah, but I have no problem with Jaden winning it. He was a took his team to the playoffs. Yeah, that was a pretty good start to his career.
Coming from a 4-13 season the year before they had him too.
Yeah, I didn't have high expectations for the Commanders. Jaden Daniels definitely deserved to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. To me, I feel like Washington gonna be set up, like I said, for the next couple years, man. They good. All they need to do is build on that offensive line and build their defense.
Yeah, because the
Build
defense
their
struggled
defense.
a lot last season,
Yeah,
until towards the end of the season. Same thing with Baltimore. The defense started putting it together late in the season, but it took way too long to put that together though.
new defensive coordinator, new pieces, man.
Yeah. All right. So the defensive player of the year, offensive player of the year. We'll start on the defensive side again. Uh, now Patrick Surtain, which I think did anybody predict him to win?
Nope.
No.
Okay. He Patrick Surtain won defensive player of the year. Me personally, as a Jets fan, die easy, and as a Revis fan, die hard. I don't like when cornerbacks win defensive player of the year
I love it.
when Revis didn't get it. Because Revis, now, don't get me wrong, should Charles Woodson have won it? There, you can make a real argument that he should have. But personally speaking, and because he was kind of like a force all over the field.
Even without
Um,
one, I think Reeves first ballot Hall of Fame.
you said what?
I say even without one, I think Reeves
Oh
first
yeah,
ballot
yeah,
Hall of
certainly.
Fame.
Because corners don't win it very often. But when I see the corners who won it since him with Stephon Gilmore and then now Patrick Surtain the second, I'm like, they didn't even have the season Revis had against better receivers. And like I don't like the two receivers that they keep harping on for Patrick Surtain was DK Metcalf, which everybody says he plays well below his potential, and Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase, huge that he shut him down. But you can't. I can't remember all the elite wide receivers Reeves shut down. But I want to say it was like 5 or 6 of them that were all on Jamar Chase's level, somewhere a level
Ocho,
corners.
Randy,
T.O.
Andre Johnson,
T.O.,
so Steve
Calvin,
Smith, Calvin Johnson. Like how how does I'm bothered by it. Now I don't know who should have won it. That's the problem because I'm just so mad.
Trey
I didn't even
Hendrickson,
look
maybe.
into it. Who?
Trey Hendrickson, maybe for the Cincinnati Bengals.
He led the league in sacks. The
Yeah,
defense is too horrible though. You couldn't give it to
yeah,
him.
I
But
agree. Miles Garrett, then
their defense was
same
mid.
thing,
I
same
think he
thing.
got it because he was, like
Because
there's
they
like in
record.
like in the NBA where sometimes MVP was like the best player on the team with the best record. I think because he was the best player on the best defense of all the candidates, that's why he won.
I think the other player that they had up there was middle linebacker Zach Braun for the Eagles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think and that's why it just I didn't see much of the Eagles play, so I didn't know how impactful he was until the playoffs. But I'm like, if just watching him in the playoffs, I would have probably picked him. But yeah, I'm highly bothered by a cornerback winning defensive player of the
I
year when
loved it.
Reeves did.
I loved it. I didn't even think about it like that, but I loved it, man.
Like I'm a corners defensive back is my favorite position. So I love it when they win. But I'm kind of like you.
Yeah, I
If
feel it.
you with Lamar,
I
if
feel
you
it.
did this or after, no. So anybody after Revis got to have a better season than Revis,
No, I
and
feel
it
it.
hasn't happened.
Like,
As far as just lockdown corners, I've never seen a season like Revis put together, and he was defensive player of the year. So no, Pat. Man, I love you, Pat, and I do believe you're the best corner in football. No. Zero, go ahead.
I ain't got nothing to add. I thought it was gonna be Miles Garrett getting another one, but when I saw Patrick Sertain's name, I was like, "What
Four
did he?
measly interceptions.
Like, what
No
did he?
touchdowns.
Like, what did he do?"
2
So
games they allowed 0 yards.
it's like you knew you weren't gonna have Zach Bond win that shit.
Don't follow receivers. Come on, man. This
Nobody does that anymore, so it is what it is. Yeah, nobody does it anymore.
Offensive, never mind.
No, yeah. Let's go offensive player of the year.
Who was that? Saquon, right?
Saquon. I mean,
I thought it should have been between Saquon and Jamar.
unfortunately, the voters just sending votes in. So, it would be nice if the voters who were putting first place votes in were tied,
Fuck them voters. Fuck them
but
voters.
Exactly.
you can't exactly like be like you splitting it. Like, what I'm saying, hey, I can give a half a vote, or calling guys around and seeing like determining your vote based off of what other guys are doing. So I can understand. But the sad thing is, which one, when it comes to Jamar Chase and the season he had, it's like, which one is more impressive? Is a 2,000-yard season more impressive, or is a wide receiver triple crown more impressive? Personally speaking, I think there's been more 2,000-yard rushers than triple crown winners for the wide receiver position. So I don't know. Like, he would win it any other year, and it's similar to the Reeves thing. If Charles Woodson didn't have the season he had, he wins that defensive player of the year 100 times, 99 times out of 100. But it's just like, yeah, you literally had a season in which like the season that Chase had. There's usually not a 2,000-yard rusher in the same season. And actually, matter of fact, I don't know how. I'm actually surprised that that both Saquon and Derrick Henry didn't get 2,000 yards, because they were both pacing for it halfway through the season. So I'm like, we could have almost had 2,000-yard rushers. And how many yards did Henry finish with? Was it 18?
19. It was like 1948.
19. Bro, like, that's unheard of. That's like the season that those three men had offensively is unheard of. And then not only to throw in James Cook, who had 16 touchdowns. Like these, first of all, the running back is back. I love it. But like, the season that those three men had is unheard of. And we can't, like,
Hey,
it's tough, man.
can somebody look it up for me? When Terrell Davis ran for 2,000 yards, how many yards did Jamal Anderson have?
I'm trying. Let me find that year first, real quick.
It'd be
Yeah, I'm
98.
It was 98.
Yeah.
1998 NFL rushing.
he 1846.
1846. Okay. But I know he had
410 carries.
Yeah, that was the record for carries in the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't remember because I was thinking, did he get?
And he had 4.5 yards attempt.
21 this year.
Wow.
Yeah, I had to make sure that it wasn't that. Okay, was Terrell ran for 2,000. He didn't make it to 19. Okay, I had to make sure that This was actually the
If
first
I'm not
time this
mistaken,
happened.
I think Saquon had 20 more carries than Derek too on the season.
bruh,
I think Derek had 325. Saquon had 345.
bruh.
And he could have had more if they didn't sit him out.
I, I, I
Hmm.
I'm to be honest, I'm surprised Derrick Henry was so close to hitting that 2,000 yard mark and they didn't just go for it, especially like at the end of the season, you know. So I get, kind of saving his body for the playoffs or whatever. But yeah, like
Man, give him that
the offense
momentum.
play of the year, this is a difficult year. Like there was three, well, if you include Joe Burrow, there was four legit. I mean, you couldn't give it to um Derrick Henry because of the season uh Saquon had, but there was four legitimate candidates for it.
I think the reason why I went to Saquon ultimately is the impact on his team.
Yeah,
Like Jamar had a triple crown, but like they didn't make the playoffs.
Mm.
yeah. I think they started off with 1-4 or something like
Yeah,
that.
1 and 4, something like that. Yeah, and Joe Burrow, same thing. Like you led the league in passing yards and touchdowns, but I mean you didn't make the playoffs, so I think you got to
When
disqualify you.
also what's impressive about Jamar Chase is he also missed the game because
Hmm.
he didn't play the first game of the season, so to still lead the league in everything as far as wide receivers concerned is crazy.
Oh, it was there to prove a point this year. I guarantee it.
It was
So,
part of the script.
Yeah.
yeah, like this
But
next award.
all right, so I think both of y'all had picked Lamar to win MVP again. I picked Josh Allen. Um,
You so
I
happy about that pick? No,
I mean when you got two awards locked, you know what I'm saying? I'm feeling good about all my picks. If only I had the Super Bowl right, I'd be a rich man. So, but with that being said, um, I'm gonna I'm gonna go to y'all because y'all had Lamar winning, and I hate the fact, and that's why I said there was a lot of splitting the baby in this thing where you give Lamar
first team All Pro.
first team All Pro, saying he's the best quarterback, but he's not the MVP. And then when you heard the explanation, now all of a sudden the V in MVP means something different every season. There's no consistency to the MVP award. Personally speaking, I I'm not mad at it, and it's not just because I picked Josh Allen, but I'm not mad at it. But it does bother me that they did that. Like, if you're gonna commit to it, commit to it. Don't split the baby and don't try to hedge your bet pretty much and be like, oh well, yeah, we still gave you something though. Like, I don't like that. But King Shawn, as the Ravens fan, as a resident Lamar fan, you need to start us off. What did you think about that MVP award?
Yeah, because I'm not gonna say anything. You got this.
Yeah, I was watching.
Zero, is that new Mike? I'm sorry.
Huh?
Is that new Mike?
No, I've had this for like almost a year now.
I don't know why it seems like I haven't, like it was, man, I clearly don't look at the camera very often because I swear that looked like a brand new Mike. Anyways, King Shawn, go ahead.
Yeah, I was watching Shannon Sharp and Ocho Nightcap after the awards. And they had Deion Sanders on there, and they said, "Yeah, Josh Allen won the MVP." Deion said, "Who?" They said, "Josh Allen." Deion walked up and got up out of there like he was about to walk off stage, and I heard somebody from the crowd scream, "DEI, DEI," and that's all I could think, man. Like you said, splitting the baby. Like I don't get it. Like first person ever in history to have 4,000 yards passing, 900 yards rushing, number two in the league in passing touchdowns. Like everybody says, like what Derrick Henry did for the Ravens this year. We've had 2,000 rushing yard seasons before Derrick Henry got there. Like, and I mean as a whole, as a team. Yes, he's gotten us. We are the first team in NFL history to have over 4,000 yards passing and 3,000 yards rushing as a team too. I don't know if y'all know that. But
Damn, that offense was clicking, boy.
bro, like if you look at like Derrick Henry definitely helped us this year, like in a big way. But like I said to y'all in the last pod, like the thing about him, like he wasn't a third down back when he wasn't on the field, like in the passing situations, that's not helping us. That's not helping us to me. If you look at, like I said, in that last drive when we played the Bills, he wasn't on the field the whole drive, the whole last drive. Like that's invaluable to me. So Lamar being the MVP, Lamar being able to do it by himself all the time, like I just feel like, and I don't want to say by himself because we have pieces, but not as many pieces or not the names that everybody else has. In my opinion, like he should have won MVP, man. Like it was. I wasn't shocked because when I watched the NFL honors, I didn't see Lamar there. So when I didn't see him there, I knew he wasn't winning an award. I knew he wasn't winning an award at all. But I was disappointed with the NFL this year with that. It's basically like a hair nigga damn, but it's not because he a white
Yo,
boy.
yo. So the issue I've had with the narrative of the Josh Allen thing in this MVP race is because of last season. And again, I had no issue with Lamar Jackson winning the award last season. But when everybody said Lamar didn't have the stats to win it over Josh Allen, the people who were saying, well, look at the impact he made on the team with the record that they had. And, it's not all about stats. Then when it works against you, it's like now it's about stats. And again, I'm not mad. I'm not mad at anybody who believes that Lamar Jackson should have won MVP. Um, like kind of Zero said, it would be nice to see a co-MVP situation because I do believe that both players were deserving of it. And I don't necessarily think that Josh Allen was more deserving of it, especially Lamar Jackson. He threw 4 interceptions. And if you looked at all 4 interceptions he threw, 3 of them were complete flukes, like complete flukes. And I'm like, okay, both of them scored 40 plus touchdowns. Both of them didn't turn the ball over much. So then it's and then Josh Allen lost the head-to-head game, so he got, and not only lost, got dominated in the head-to-head game. So it makes sense to vote for Lamar. But like I said, it's only because it's working against the people who said, oh, like the stats don't matter all the way when it came to Lamar Jackson last season. It's like, okay, well then keep that same energy. That's my thing about it when it comes to the Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson debate. Again, also the story of it all. There was a point last season or the year before where Lamar Jackson, the Ravens, were dominating. They had like a 4 or 5 game stretch where they were dominating really good teams. And Lamar Jackson was dominating really good teams. And the same thing happened for Josh Allen this year, except they didn't win every game. They lost to the Rams in that game, in which he scored. He was responsible for 6 touchdowns. It was like one of the best games. It was one of the best games I've seen all season from an individual player. So it's just like he had the same 4 or 5 game stretch in which he was dominant against really good teams, just like Lamar did, even though he didn't have, and he had the better record, because that was another thing. They were like, oh, look at Lamar's record versus Josh Allen's record. And the story of Josh Allen losing his best players around him, even though he still had James Cook, losing his best players around him, picking up Keon Coleman, who virtually wasn't really an asset to the offense this year. Their receivers weren't very great this year. Their tight ends are solid, but Lamar Jackson being on the more talented team, just like they said Josh Allen the year before was on the more talented team, which both things are true. It's like, okay, then if you have to keep that same energy. That's my argument for it. Do I believe that Josh Allen deserved it more? No, I do not. But because of all the arguments I heard for Lamar Jackson is being flipped and said for Josh Allen. And in all fairness, that's why it makes sense he wins MVP.
I get that. I get that point. My only rebuttal to that point would be this. If I gave you a quarterback that threw 41 touchdowns, or had a total of 45 touchdowns, but threw 41 of them and only had 4 turnovers or 8 turnovers on the season, 4 picks and 4 fumbles, would you think that your record would be 12-5, or would you think it'd be better?
Oh, definitely better.
So that would be my point. Like, we didn't lose those games because of Lamar. Like, I feel like
the Ravens won yet, or the Raiders won yet. Lamar did turn the ball a couple times.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
But outside of that, no, the Ravens defense was
pathetic. And that would just be my only point to that. Like I was telling y'all before in the last part, like with the field goals, us missing those field goals, and how many points they led to, and how many points we lost by.
Justin Tucker aged overnight, boy. And he was like, "It's my kicking technique." I fixed it.
And was good throughout the playoffs. I ain't worried about a kick. I swear I did.
And this is the first time a quarterback has thrown for 40 plus touchdowns
and less than 5 picks.
Less than 5 interceptions and didn't win MVP. Because the only other quarterback
Aaron Rodgers was the only one who did it, and he won.
And he did it he did it 3 times.
and also a couple of those seasons, like I remember one of those years, like Drew Brees had a remarkable year. Like one of the years that Aaron Rodgers did it. He also threw for 40 plus touchdowns, and I think he threw for around like 11 picks or something like that. And it was like, oh no, it still went to Aaron Rodgers, and it's just like, you know, the NFL, and that's why some people were like they were giving Josh Allen like a consolation MVP, kind of like the Joel Embiid thing. And I'm like, the NFL hasn't really been about that for the most part until now. And what did I tell y'all before the season? He's a part of the good old boys club.
I really would not have a problem with this if they just didn't split the baby. Like if you were going to give him MVP, just give him first team All Pro, bro.
Yeah,
just give him first team All Pro.
Own it, own it.
Yeah.
Don't own it.
You know what makes me wonder? Did they vote after the Bills eliminated the?
Supposedly they didn't. Supposedly they
no.
didn't.
The votes are supposed to be turned in before the playoffs start. It's like and it's like days before the playoffs start. It's not So
got you.
So yeah, and Dan Orlovsky was on ESPN, and you know, this is I like Dan Orlovsky. I think he's a solid, you know, analyst and things of that nature. But when he gave his explanation,
fanboy sometimes, man.
That's what I was getting to. He can be a fanboy, especially for specific quarterbacks, and then when he gave his explanation, in all honesty, and I'm not trying to be biased, but for myself, but the explanation I gave is significantly better than the explanation he gave. And he has votes. And he's the one who said, this is why I voted for Lamar. And it just sounded stupid, and it was a complete cop-out. And that's what all of these people are doing, except for owning. Just like we've had controversies like this, mostly in the NBA. Joel Embiid and Jokic. The one year I believe Jokic deserved MVP, they gave it to of his 3 MVPs, they gave it to Embiid. And I thought Embiid should have won when Jokic won his second one, and Giannis should have won when Jokic won his first one. And then the same thing with what's your boy name? LeBron and Carmelo for Rookie of the Year. Like, you know what I'm saying? They just made stuff up to give because of the story that's around it. That's all it ever was. And when you Josh Allen, and you a part of the good old boys club, never doing no harm club, that they're gonna bend over backwards for you. This is not a race thing. Even though everybody in the good old boys is Caucasian club is Caucasian. This isn't necessarily. I don't think it's a race thing, but because Lamar Jackson doesn't get 2 MVPs if it's a race thing. But like, especially one of those MVPs was between him and Allen the year before. So, but when the narrative is already being created that this is the year, if any year, Josh Allen wins MVP, and then he has the year he has, it's his for the taking. It was his to lose as long as they held up to. And you remember, I told y'all, if they made the playoffs in general, it could have been a 10-7 year, an 11-6 year. They would have gave it to him. They would have gave it to him. That's all. He just needed to make the playoffs, and that's the thing that's disheartening about it, because everybody said Lamar Jackson, oh, he needs to improve as a passer and this, that, and the other, and he had one of the best passing. Him and Joe Burrow were the two best passers in football this year, and everybody said Lamar Jackson couldn't throw the football for the last six years. Everybody said that. And Lamar Jackson has every single year proves everybody wrong. In my opinion, at least when I bring my quarterback list out next year, he's going to be the number one quarterback on my list, even though because he keeps proving everybody wrong. He's only missing the ring, and I'm hoping that he gets the ring soon.
In my opinion, this might be, I don't know if I said this on here before or not, but I think Lamar Jackson is the best quarterback in football.
You can't argue against that, really. You
I think he's
can't
the best
argue
quarterback in
against that.
football. Besides like
Especially
championships,
how
I'm talking about
Mahomes just
individually. I think he's the best quarterback in football, talent wise.
I'm going to go a step further. He may be the best football player in football.
100%.
And it's after this season, there's really only 4 guys you can say is in that category on the offensive side of football. Joe Burrow, he was the best passer in football. Lamar Jackson, he was far better. He does both. Josh Allen does both, but I think he's a step behind him. And then Saquon Barkley, the way that he was able to dominate this year. And then there's everybody else. And I agree with you. I think also what hurt Lamar Jackson's case was the fact that Derrick Henry was having MVP considerations for about the first half of the season,
which is
but
insane
it was
to me.
unwarranted.
It
was
insane.
unwarranted.
Insane. Fucking insane. I love Derrick Henry. I swear to you, I love Derrick Henry being on the scene. I do. But I feel like Lamar did more for Derrick than Derrick did for Lamar. I feel like
Yes.
I feel like it's more of a 60-40 than it is
Yeah. No, I'm
50-50.
with you. I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. I'm like, I don't understand. People don't understand, and even Saquon could say this about Jalen Hurts to an extent. People don't understand how much easier it is to run the football when you got a quarterback who's a running threat. And, so Saquon can say that. And, in my opinion, I feel like that's why CJ2K had the year he did, was because Vince Young was under center and he was such a big running threat. So now, not saying that every 2,000-yard rusher needs to give their credit to that, because it's still difficult to do that. But yes, when you have the most electrifying player when you have the most electrifying player in sports entertainment in Lamar Jackson, it might help a little bit. When you got Lamar the Rock Jackson, when you got dude throwing the people's elbow on NFL teams, yeah, no, you might. Did he help? Yes. Did he help the offense overall, like with them being able to be physical at all times? 100%. But when it came down to it and they needed to make plays to win games, it was Lamar Jackson making every single one of those plays. So that's why I believe that I wouldn't have been mad if he won MVP, but I understand why Josh Allen. But yeah, the NFL voters are soft. Well, matter of fact, we didn't get to parting shots. I'm going to go straight first. This is my parting shot. Everybody who listens to this podcast, share this podcast, subscribe to this podcast, because the 3 of us deserve MVP and All Pro votes. We need to be the first podcasters with Hall of Fame votes because we deserve that. Because if Dan Orlovsky can get on national TV and say what he said, I need a vote. That's my party shot.
Yeah, if you all the people that split their votes need to give up their votes for
real.
But my parting shot is going to be, to me, at this point, the Hall of Fame in the NFL has become a joke, and I'm gonna just leave it at that. I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Oh shoot, I forgot I didn't put that down, but we got to run. So yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Hall of Fame in the NFL has become a joke.
Luke Kuechly not being the first ballot Hall of Fame is ridiculous. Anyways,
it's a lot of people on that list.
Yeah, it's a lot of people. A lot of people. And I'm like, the fact that y'all only found 4 out of all those guys. Okay, but anyways, we'll discuss that another day. Matter of fact, we might discuss that for the Hall of Fame game when they're actually inducted. Zero, what's your parting shot?
My parting shot is let Fred in. Like, God damn it, man.
Let Fred in.
Like, just God damn it, man. Because y'all.
I drink to that.
I'm saying, it's like, I'll just raise my glass. It's empty to that. It's like, I ain't got no more macaroni, so I can't eat to that. Like, for real, let Fred in. Y'all some hoe ass niggas.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say. They some hoes.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for listening. You see it on YouTube. Comment, subscribe, like. Tell us what you like about it. Tell us what you don't like about it. Argue with us. At least I am in the comments, and I will go back and forth with you when I got time. So, but please continue to support the podcast as much as you can. Let us be the first podcasters with Hall of Fame votes. Anyways, we love y'all. We'll see you next week. Appreciate you, King Shawn.